ready to go.
Can I introduce myself?
Yeah, go ahead and introduce
information?
yourself and explain a little bit about why you decided to run, and
Absolutely.
we'll go from there.
I'm Larry Grove, and for the past 25 years I've served as the Lewis County Auditor's Chief Accountant. I'm a Toledo native, 4th generation, grew up on the Cowlitz River. Following graduation from high school, I joined the United States Navy and served 2 tours in Vietnam. I was excited to return to the area to attend Centralia College and pursue an associate degree in science, then off to WSU and a bachelor's degree in wildlife biology. I worked in the timber industry from setting chokers to being a wildlife and fishery biologist. With the downturn of the timber products industry in the 1980s, I found myself back at Centralia College studying accounting. And then I transferred to St. Martin's and got my second bachelor's degree, this time in accounting. I'm a licensed certified public accountant in the state of Washington. As a CPA, I have worked at a CPA firm in Olympia and the Washington State Auditor's Office, where I audited state agencies and local governments. And while auditing Lewis County, Gary Zandell hired me away in 1989 to serve as the Lewis County Auditor's Chief Accountant. My wife Cindy and I have been married for over 32 years. We have 3 grown children, Brittany, Jessica, and Marcus. I'm entering my 38th year of teaching as adjunct faculty at Centralia College. I teach Taekwondo. And not that I have lots of free time, but in my free time, my twin sister, Sherry Bakatich, and myself help out our mom, Fran Grove, on the family farm. And we affectionately call her Farmer Fran, because at 82, she's running the farm by herself. I really enjoy camping with my family, and I love anything to do with cars and motorcycles. So that's kind of just, in a nutshell, who I am and what I've done. So, as far as why did I decide to run for county auditor, with Gary Zandell, my boss, and our current county auditor's upcoming retirement, he strongly encouraged me to run. And after serving for 25 years as his chief accountant, it presented a unique professional opportunity in my career, which I view as a pinnacle of my career, to be the elected auditor of the citizens of the county.
What specific experience do you have that would qualify you to be Lewis County's next auditor?
I've worked in the county auditor's office for 25 years. And obviously in finance, all aspects of finance, working directly with the county commissioners for over 10 years as their budget officer. And provide, we've received numerous awards from Government Finance Officers Association, United States and Canada, for excellence in financial reporting. Conservative fiscal advice to the county commissioners during lean times, during Desert Storm and the Great Recession. In our county today, if you looked at any other county in the state, we're positioned far better than they are financially. I also had the privilege of working directly in an elections department for over 10 years, every election, where I was on the write-in and duplication board, including in 1996, I believe was the year, the write-in for Linda Smith for Congress, when we worked through the night. We were the only county in the state that worked completely through the night till all the ballots were counted. I have a working knowledge in the other 2 functional areas, legal recording and licensing. Haven't worked directly in them, but I've been involved in the financial aspect of both offices. And I know the staff, and I know the processes, I know the projects that are ongoing. So I just think my experience in the office and my professional credentials and education make me very qualified for the position.
If elected, what changes would you make and why?
When elected, I will hope to continue the legacy of my boss, Gary Zandell, and his predecessor, Robert Benneman, in providing quality customer service to the citizens, operating elections in a nonpartisan manner, and providing conservative financial advice to the county commissioners. Under the current budget constraints, there's not a lot of freeboard for new programs or incentives. However, one important aspect of the office would be to maintain our technology edge. So working within our existing budgets to ensure that we have modern technology for the various functions of the office.
You were mentioning earlier about how you felt that Lewis County's finances are in really, really good shape. Can you kind of expound on that? Kind of tell us, the condition of them as they currently stand?
Today, the cash balance of the general fund, which I call the mother of all funds,
Mm-hmm.
because it provides funding for pretty much everything we think of a general government, is around $10 million. I know other counties in the state that are similar size, in the spring of the year, will go to the bank and borrow money on tax anticipation notes because they have inadequate funds to pay their payroll and pay their vendors. It took a long time, Chris, to accumulate that money, and it's just by prudent advice to the commissioners, and the commissioners over the last 25 years making the right decisions at the right time to be conservative with the public's money.
Changing gears a little bit here, your opponent wrote a column earlier this year explaining a 2007 suicide attempt and an arrest for possession of methamphetamine. In your opinion, do you think that should disqualify them from the job?
My opponent's past is not the focus of my campaign. The focus of my campaign is my experience and my credentials and what I can bring to the office to serve the public.
You were mentioning earlier also about a technological edge, and that kind of leads me to one of the questions I had here. The budgeting software, the Microsoft Dynamics,
Correct.
the purchase that came up in 2009, the county spent about 1.1, I believe it was, $1 million on it.
That is correct.
A couple questions as we continue here. Was the auditor's office at fault in any capacity for that not working? And what's been done to correct that issue?
The GP Dynamics solution was a countywide project that had oversight by the county commissioners. The county team did exhaustive search for an acceptable software solution, and that began in about 2001. Based on representations of Microsoft officials and recommendations of the county consultant, we selected Microsoft Dynamics GP. It was purchased on a state contract from Department of Information Services. The county hired a consultant for implementation. The county team worked diligently and very hard over a number of years during the implementation. Unfortunately, the outcome at the end was less than expected. At that point, the commissioners made the decision to terminate the project and not spend further taxpayers' money when the outcome was uncertain. There's some good news. We own the licenses to the software. We continue to use it in a limited capacity. We're looking to hopefully leverage that with perhaps a different Microsoft solution in the future. The legacy system that we're currently using was purchased in '93. It's far exceeded its life expectancy. In '93 we paid $50,000 for the software. The challenge with the software is that as there's new federal and state mandates, it's challenging to modify the software to comply with the new laws. So hopefully I answered your questions.
Yeah, just kind of touching on, was there anybody specifically at fault? Was the auditor's office or anything like that?
Not
Was
at
there any
all.
sort of...
Not at all. The auditor's office was working in the trenches constantly with the consultant. Microsoft was involved. Microsoft hired an additional consultant to try to remedy the solution. But at the end of the day, it still was an unacceptable solution, unfortunately.
Larry, you talked about a team working since 2001 in order,
Right.
from, I'm assuming, a team within the county?
Within the county.
From different departments?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Representatives from the auditor's office, the treasurer's office, public work accounting, information technology, and central services, because by statute, which my boss always refers to, the statute was written before Bill Gates was born, and it talks about any technology decision of the county must be approved by the central services director, who in this case is Michael Strozik.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Alright.
You want a last question?
Yeah, well,
What is one thing that people would be surprised to know about you that you haven't shared with folks thus far?
That I haven't shared. Probably the most surprising thing, which I shared at the beginning, was that I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. I earned my black belt in 1980. I will say this about that, okay? if it wasn't for Taekwondo, I wouldn't be sitting here. Because our master instructor, Sundo Chung, who's an extremely successful Korean businessman, encouraged me to become a CPA. And because I went to him one Friday night advanced class, black belt class, required, you didn't miss them. And I told him I didn't feel like I could continue with the rigors of being a biologist. I was working for Weyerhaeuser Research in town, and we were pouring concrete in the upper Chehalis River, and it was a pretty physically demanding week. And I says, I don't know if I can do this when I'm 50 years old. So I think that what I want to do is go back to school and become an attorney. And he says, no, you're going to become a CPA. And I looked at him and I says, what is a CPA? Because I had never even heard of it. And he says, well, next Friday when you come to class, you tell me what is a CPA and what does it take to become one. So I came back to class, and this is in August, and I told him, you have to take this really rigorous test. At that time, you did not have to have a degree in accounting. You just had to have a bachelor's degree in any study, but you had to pass the test. So it was, as a practical matter, you couldn't pass it without the foundational information you'd learn in accounting, auditing, taxation, and college. And he goes, okay, so when you come next Friday, you show me that you're accepted to fall quarter at the college. So I went to the college, and they said, you're past the date of applying for fall quarter. You're going to have to wait till winter. I says, you don't understand. That answer is not acceptable. So within the next 16 months, I had my second bachelor's degree and passed the CPA exam and began my career in accounting. So I think that is kind of my unique story that most people don't know. And I owe a lot to Mr. Chung for where I'm at today, because he's been my mentor all through everything.
Okay.
Anything else that we've missed that you'd like to touch base on?
Not really. I've been so blessed by all the people that we've met during the course of the campaign that we would have never, ever otherwise met. And it's been, not to say it hasn't been rigorous, but it has been rigorous and challenging. But we're up to it, and we're very excited with the upcoming election on November 4th.
One more thing, kind of not really pertinent to anything, but just for my own curiosity. What's the most exciting part of your job as the county's chief accountant? Is there like a particular bit that you get excited for, or not being much of a numbers guy, I'm just kind of curious.
I would say the most exciting thing is the financial reporting aspect of the job, where you bring together all the financial data and put it in a format that's accepted as a standard in the country. And probably the highlight of my career working for Zandel was in 1991, when I came to work in '89. The reporting was antiquated and didn't meet standards. And so within a year and a half, I brought it up to current standards and applied for the Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting to GFOA, primarily to get feedback from an independent third party. And we were totally blown away when we received the award. And at that time, there was only 6 of the 39 counties in the state of Washington to receive the award. The other counties being King County, Pierce County, Spokane County, much, much larger. And they actually have teams of people that prepare the financial statements, and I did it by myself.
Okay.
So that's what my boss calls me, the chief bean counter. And I think that's what a bean counter gets excited about, when you can have a published financial report that someone else stamps as being very good.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think we're good.